All right, well, it's one of those mornings today, and I can hear the generators in the neighborhood running. The power is out. It's an ice storm that we have going on, and I haven't been out to the boiler yet, and I got a bad feeling. I have a feeling this is out as well. It doesn't look too good in here. I can see a tiny bit of coals right there. You can see that. I got a tiny bit of coals there at least. Pricker. Just cleaning up some old pricker bushes. Anyway, I was going to start a fire here. Bring some old fast food stuff. This might be smoking a little too. Yep. There's at least some coals. So I'll throw that together with that. Pretty much just place that on there. Add a couple other pieces. Now, mind you, we have no power right now. So this boiler is not circulating at all. I'm going to show you how I deal with that in 2 seconds. Let's come out here and grab some firewood. And load this to keep it going. Okay, well, at least I have good dry firewood, even though it's icy and rainy. That's one thing you need to make sure you have. Keep building the fire here. I was thinking I was going to have to start from scratch with this fire, but guess I don't. I can see a couple little smoldering coals. And give it a second and that'll light itself right up. Kind of cool. And just grab a couple more of these chunks, throw them right on in there and go from there. Now this boiler, built this thing years ago, 15 years actually, and it's 1/4-inch steel. Absolutely awesome. It has no electricity to run it. Draws its own air right through here. You can adjust how much air you need. However, it does need electricity to run the pumps. So if you want to know more about this boiler, I have quite a few videos on it. You can check it out. But this one, I wanted to show you what we have to do when there's no power. All right, so what we have for this magic occasion is this little special guy here. This here is our Honda EU2200i companion. Now this one has the 30 amp outlet. We use that camping. We hook 2 of these together and you can wire them in parallel and you can run an air conditioner, and these things are whisper quiet. It works so well. They sip fuel, mind you. Let me just check. I think it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty full anyway, enough for now. So what I'm going to do, I have 2 cords here to plug in. Actually, I only have 1 plug, so I have to figure that out. The other model of this has the 2 plugs on there. I will get a thing and plug that in. Let me do that quick now. Okay, so now that I have a 4-way hooked into the generator, this will be a lot easier. I need 2 extension cords. I'll show you what both of those are for in just a second here. But what we can do is let's fire this thing up here, give it a little choke. Turn the fuel on for a second and give it 2 seconds to get in there. Usually fires up pretty smooth and quickly. It's a Honda, no surprise. Now this has an eco throttle mode. So if you turn, right now it's on, you can hear it just putzing along. Oh, once it warned, okay. And there you go, now that's on. Now as we come over here, I have our cord here. Now, if you look, buried back in here, here's the circulator pump, there's the circulator pump, and the panel. What I did is when I hooked this relay panel in, instead of hard wiring it, I put plugs on it. So normally it's just plugged into the wall. Now, let's see if I can get some light so we can see what I'm doing here. All I have to do, plug them in, circulator pumps kick on. So right now, that's all it's taken to run my heat, and that's great. And if you look down here, the radiant floor heating running through the garage floor, and I also have it running up through the floor up above. And I'll do some more videos about that one day when I can actually see what's going on in here. And what's happening is the water's coming in from the boiler, goes into this water heater, or hot water heater, depending upon what you want to call it. And then this is a backup system. It's kind of just holding the water. From there, it goes through the whole system and then back out to the boiler. However, if I go on vacation, I can plug this in, or if the boiler is out, this will kick on, and then all of a sudden I know, okay, the propane's running, there's something wrong with the boiler. Go out and figure out what it is. So at least right now we're making heat from here. Let me show you one other thing we're doing. And this one we're going to run up. We plug this little electric heater in here. It's 69 in here right now, so it's perfect. You know, we just don't want the house to get too cold yet. But at least while we have no power. And if you look, I don't know what you can see, but it's smoking, it's burning, so we're making heat again. So maybe you learned something from that, I hope. And God, make sure to like and subscribe our other videos. Let's go check the boiler and see how that's doing, make sure it's burning well. Other than that, now we just have to wait a couple hours till the power comes back on. And it's kind of nice to actually be set up for this. This is the first time I've actually had to use the plugs and the generator to run the circulator pumps and make heat. So it's working. It's exactly as intended. Took 2 seconds to hook the cords up. We're good to go. Just sipping on fuel. Great. Looked in the boiler in a little while. It's been about 15-20 minutes. And just like that, we didn't even touch anything. We just threw it in there. You don't mess with it. You don't blow on it. You just light it and go. So now, other things you need to do with the boiler every once in a while. I have this magic flat shovel. Scrape the ceiling, scrape the walls. I don't know what you can see, but it definitely does boost the efficiency by getting some of that creosote out. And then if you can get way back up into that chimney, I don't know if you can see that, pull some of that out. Every once in a while, that'll help it burn a little bit better. Overall, it's kind of nice, just a simple draft. It draws what it needs through there. And that thing burns perfectly. Plenty of room to keep adding more. Day like today, you know, it's 33 degrees out. And that's all the fire I really need to have going at the moment. It works. Let me grab a couple more pieces, throw them in there anyway, just so they start drying and burning. Oh, the wood pile. Definitely build yourself a little wood shed like that to keep it dry. Dry wood is worth it all. Throw them in there just like that, it'll burn. And we're making heat. Pretty cool. Of course, power's still out. We don't have our light out here, but at least the circulators are working. That's great. I love when this thing works right. It's really a great thing to have. Saves so much money through the years having this thing. Burns like no tomorrow. Would have been nice to cover the front of this one day, but you know, it's all going to turn black anyway, so I figured it's easier to leave it off. I could change the insulation every couple years. I love it. And you know, not a lot of smoke coming out of that thing for just being started. Couple coals in the morning, just throw new stuff on and let it go. There's no thermostat controls on this, and I've had some people give me, oh, well, a lot of crap for it. Oh, well, there's no way to control it. It boils over. I control it by how much wood I put in. I know how much heat I'm going to need on a day like today. I've been doing this for 15 years. Trying to learn a thing or two. A fire like this will sustain the temperature. If I need more heat in the house, I'd build a bigger fire. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put a really big chunk of wood in here and let this fire slowly burn and smolder and simmer on that big giant piece. Dries it out, saves the trouble of splitting. And if you put a big piece in the middle and build a fire all around it, it radiates a lot more of the heat to the top and the sides and the back. More so than just sitting here and burning and going right through the chimney. The closer you have the fire to the front, the better it works. It draws the coals right here and just kind of really flames the whole thing up. Can burn just about anything in here. You can see here's a couple nails came out of whatever was in there before. The only problem is you can't really use your ashes for anything other than throwing them away once you start burning other stuff, because you don't want to have nails and metal shards in your garden. Overall, what a great contraption. And short of having to run the generator to circulate these pumps, and they're just 2 little circulator pumps. I think they're 1/10 of a horsepower a piece. They barely use any power, so the generator's able to hum along and run an electric heater as well. There's extra backup, so I don't need to have this going so much. Simple enough though. In a day like today, like I said, nothing's coming out of that chimney, and it's just a simple, well, it's plenty coming out of it, but you don't see any particles, and it's burning pretty clean, drawing as much air as it needs to make perfect combustion. It has a good sized combustion chamber, so it can burn cleanly. That's another big thing. If you load this up too much and pack it full of wood, the wood gets so high there's no room to have a good proper combustion. If you see this flame, it's starting from here, it's hitting there, it's burning perfectly. Every bit of it, it has a fuel ratio that it needs. So let's see, it has the exact amount of air fuel ratio that it needs to combust properly, and it makes the perfect draw. The heat goes right up through the chimney and draws the air through here, and you can see the flames kind of pulling that way a little bit. Hence why if you have the fire right here and it's pulling, it's blasting the rest of this with the flames. Pretty simple. I mean, it's literally 10 minutes and it's got a raging fire going, plenty of coals in there to keep anything else going. Dry firewood, seasoned dry firewood makes the biggest difference. You get a lot hotter burn, a lot longer burn, and you won't have so much smoke. Most of the smoke you see coming out of these things is from burning wet wood, unless people are burning garbage or something. But it works, and it saves a lot of money. So make sure you like our videos, check us out, subscribe, ask any questions you want. I have all the answers for you, or at least if I don't, I'll try to figure out how to answer them. I do want to show you the rest of the stuff that we have in the house on another video of how we have our pipes run and how we do it. Like I said, when I go away on vacation, the propane runs the backup system. Really, really nice feature to have, so you don't have to worry about this. And I have no antifreeze in this system, so I have to keep the pipes, or the water circulating in the pipes at all times, or else it will freeze up. And kind of a scary thing to deal with, but 15 years of running no antifreeze and I'm yet to have an issue, so don't really have to worry too much about that at this point. And I do have copper pipes everywhere, so I can heat them up with a blowtorch or electricity if I have to, you know, thaw something out. Again, haven't got to that point, so as long as I keep something going, you run the propane when you're away, and yeah, okay, the house, you're not really heating the house, but you're keeping a temperature, and it slowly cools off, but it never froze. And it's been 34 degrees when I came home one time, but I was gone for a week. So the boiler didn't freeze, the house didn't freeze, and it was cold. And it didn't really cost that much in propane to just keep it from freezing. So it's a nice little backup feature to have it going through your other system. Anyway, great day to be with no power, ice storm. You can see the ice accumulated on the trees here. There's not much, but just enough, you know, for an accident or something, to knock the power out, which we're pretty lucky. It doesn't go out very often here anyway. But have a great day. Thank you. All right, power just came back on, so let's turn him off. Awesome. It wasn't off that long, so that's kind of a nice little thing there. And now, come back here. This water heater kicked on. All I have to do is unplug that, plug it back in, and the circulators continue to run. Worked perfectly.